Ladies and gentlemen, last night, the New Orleans Pelicans, opening night for the Pels, beat the Chicago Bulls at home in the blender. I was there. I was, in fact, in attendance. I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about it. I mean, as the face of the franchise, as the number one sports media figure in New Orleans, it would be unfair of me not to talk about it. I did spend my Wednesday night at the blender, and I mean, look, the content, unbelievable. You know, we're talking about anything, everything, can get it here on the channel. Remember, the Skrmetta verse is available. The kind of content that we're pumping out knows no bounds. We've done Fortnite videos. We've talked wrestling. We talked sports. We play Madden. Hell, I even locked myself into a car in support of heat awareness.
Yeah, we got it running. Call Chris Brown because it's running. That was a run it joke. The joke was building for about, 11 years now?
Now, to the game. I thought the Pels looked good. I mean, it's, I'm not splitting the atom here. They won by 12. But it's just such I think in sports, it is such a breath of fresh air when you move the roster around a little bit. And especially basketball or especially baseball, where you're watching these teams so much. I think it's 4 years now. I think this is my fourth year of being a season ticket holder for the Pelicans and going to 80% of home games, I would say. And it really is grating, like, to watch night in, night out, year in, year out of kind of the same thing over and over, just not work. And last year, it was so apparent that, like, the Jonas and CJ and Brandon, like, it was just this, even Najee and Larry Nance, and we just got into this really slow, really, like, mid-rangey ISO style of play, and it was just boring as hell to watch. It wasn't any fun. And, man, this Pelicans team was a breath of fresh air. I mean, if we look at the box score here, Ingram, I'm kind of a... This is a weird game because Ingram was fantastic, right? I mean, 33 points, 7 rebounds, 13 for 23, 3 for 5 from 3, plus 18 and plus minus. I just don't like his game. I just don't like the slow, like, dribble the air out of the ball, ISO, mid-rangey kind of game. But he was fantastic in this one. One of the most underwhelming 33 I've ever seen. But, hey, 33 is 33. CJ with 23 of his own. Dejounte Murray was fantastic. Almost a triple-double in his debut. 14 and 10, like it was nothing. 8 rebounds. But along with that, a fractured hand. As a New Orleans sports fan, it never gets easier, ladies and gentlemen. It never gets easier. I'll tell you that, man. It never gets easy. We can't have nothing nice. Whether it's Zion is sick, whether it's Trey Murphy is hamstring, whether it's Zion not playing for multiple years, whether it's now Dejounte Murray, the big premier new player, breaks his hand, fractures his hand immediately, whether it's the Saints, where we have literally 80% of the roster on the IR. It's just unbelievable. I mean, it really is. It's just unbelievable. But, they haven't announced a timeline yet. I think right now it's still saying, like, an indefinite time. But, you never want to see this. But if he's out for a month and a half, 2 months, something like that, it is what it is. If he's going to get hurt, you'd rather it be now versus the end of the year. But, I've never fractured my hands. I would assume it's not his shooting hand, though. It's his left hand, I think. Right? Yeah, it's his left hand. So it's not his shooting hand. Jeff Stotts, an injury analyst, a Twitter doctor, if you will, said time loss will be dictated by treatment options. If the fracture is non-displaced and surgery is not needed, then the average time loss is 15.6 games or 35.2 days. If surgery is needed, the numbers go up slightly, 17.2 and 40.5. So we're somewhere in the neighborhood of a month. Let's just call it 2 months at the worst. So, again, not crazy, but not what you want to see. And it's never, I'm telling you, it's never, ever easy as a Pels fan. Let's get back to the actual team, though. My problem with the Pels last year was when we rotated in the combination of if it was like on the floor, if we had CJ, Herb, Jose, Najee, and Larry, it's like, okay, well, no one can score. Like, no one can score, no one can shoot. And I can't tell you the amount of times I watched a Najee Marshall 3 brick off of the shot clock, or Larry Nance corner 3 was lucky to even hit the rim. We just didn't have enough depth. We didn't have enough athleticism. We didn't have enough playmakers. We didn't have enough scorers. And I understand it's only one game, but it felt like the Pels were 14, 15 deep last night. I mean, you had, and we'll take out Ingram and CJ, but Dejounte, so athletic, so fast, pushing the pace, something we desperately needed. Not to mention, we desperately needed a true ball handler. Like having CJ or Brandon take it up last year was just not the answer. So having Dejounte be able to push the pace, be that guy creating, looking to pass, looking to find assists, it was just a whole different product. And then you've got, when we had the second rotation with Herb, Missi, Green, Hawkins, we were flying around all over the place. Like the speed, the athleticism, the youth. We had 10 blocks, I think. Yeah, we had 10 blocks. Missi was a revelation down low. Watching him, and I understand it's a different kind of player, but watching Jonas for the last 3 years, where it looked like he had legitimate concrete in his socks, watching him pump fake took literal minutes. Missi, I mean, the elevation, the quickness, the athleticism, the blocking, the rim protection, something we needed. A lot of people are calling for him to start. I don't really care if he is quite literally the starter, but I do like the idea of him and Tice kind of splitting minutes. Like I do like the idea of them both playing about 20 minutes because Missi is still raw. He is still young. He is still developing. He is still learning his game and the game. So I wouldn't force him to be out there for 30 minutes a game. I like the idea of him coming in, creating that spark, creating that defensive spark, and kind of being what that rotation was a few years ago with Najee and Larry and Jose when it first kind of popped off. Like that rotation brought in so much energy to the game. Javonte Green looks like the new Najee Marshall. He kind of played that role of he's available to do anything. He'll shoot, he'll play defense, he'll run the floor, physical, athletic. So, again, it's one game. Time will come. But I liked what I saw from that second rotation. Jordan Hawkins, he's a shooter. I'll give him that. He is not afraid to hoist. He is not afraid to put it up. He's not afraid to put the shots up. Is he, I think he has a good role as the guy who's going to come in off the bench and he's not afraid to shoot. At least a threat from three. He is, he's a high volume guy, and that's not always great. Like him getting 6 to 10 threes a game. Is that what you want? I don't know. But it was refreshing. And then Herb, offensively, whatever. Herb just does so much that's not on the score sheet that it's hard to kind of, it's kind of hard to judge his game by just points, rebounds, and assists. But everyone looked good. I mean, I really enjoyed the game. I enjoyed the style of play. I enjoyed how they played. And that's not even factoring in Zion and Trey Murphy. I think Trey, more than Zion even, is exactly what this team needs. Like Trey, signed his big deal. You would assume Trey Murphy is going to be very, very impactful offensively for this team. I've not fully jokingly, but I've talked a little bit with some friends about Trey Murphy leading the NBA in threes. I think he's going to take a huge step this year. Most improved Trey Murphy, who says no? So, but now here's the question I have. So Dejounte gets hurt, okay? Dejounte, let's just call it primary ball handler. Pause. Certainly, certainly primarily the guy bringing the ball up. Not a pause, actually. So my question is, do you go back to slowing things down and have CJ or Brandon do that? Or do you say, you know what? Positions aren't a thing in the NBA anymore. Let's let Zion do it. I like the idea of point Zion for a month-ish until Dejounte gets back. just to keep that style of play, just to keep that speed, just to keep that push the pace mentality. Because who really cares? Like, who really cares who's, the idea that Zion isn't a point guard or whatever like that, if positions aren't a thing. So I hope they move forward with that. From what I hear, Zion's illness is not a thing anymore. So Zion should play Friday. So I'm interested to see if they move forward with him kind of being in charge of bringing the ball up. And this lineup, like last year, another huge problem with Zion being the ball handler, was that Jonas was just kind of like clogging up the middle. Jonas couldn't really go anywhere, so he would just sit in the middle. His defender would sit with him, and then Zion doesn't have enough, to penetrate. And then you look at the team, we don't have enough shooters for when Zion to distribute. No one's really shooting. So now that's not the case, right? Now the floor should be much more spread. We should be much more willing for this kind of push the pace, drive to the basket, dish, especially if we have a Trey out there. All of a sudden now you have more shooters. All of a sudden now the roster around Zion is more willing to this kind of push the play. Zion can drive to the basket. There's not Jonas there. So I thought it was great. I thought it was fantastic. A lot of fun Wednesday night at the Blender. Again, I go to as many games as possible. We will be covering the Pels. Don't worry. A lot of people have said, James, please cover the Pels. A lot of people have said, it's a snore fest out there. Can you please help me out? Give me some Pelicans content. So I will give some Pelicans content throughout the year. We certainly won't be doing every game update since they play so many games, but we absolutely will be covering the team. We'll be the leader. We'll be the leader in the marketplace of Pels content as well. So if you enjoy Pels content and want to see more of it, make sure to let me know. Thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Tomorrow, more videos. How many? 2 at the minimum. The next day, Saturday, more videos. How many? 2 at the minimum. Man, unbelievable. Tonight, Thursday Night Football, by the way, sneak peek at the end of the video. Rams, plus 3.5 is what I took. It's going down now. It's a good number. I have closing value coming out of my ears. So I have the Rams plus 3.5 on a couple of tickets. I would play them at plus 3 if you can get it. 2.5, I wouldn't touch it. So that's what I'm on tonight. And I'll give you another free one. I believe it's Saturday. Vancouver Canucks. Play the Canucks. So a couple of, that's a hockey bet for you on Saturday. Go with the Canucks. All right, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for watching. Go Pels. I'll see you in the next video.